Slurp. So, these types of games, they tend to attract a certain type of mindset. And people who play these are often very neat and tidy, have very orderly and organised minds. They can build some absolutely magnificent structures, very stylish and functional. A lot of pleasing symmetry. If you've got one of those mindsets, you're probably going to want to look away from this video because my factory will probably give you an embolism. So, obviously we've got the hub and the workbench. This is the research computer. I don't remember what MAM stands for, but got a bit of research done. Over here, a lot of this has already been seen, of course. We've got the cement up there. Over here, now this miner splits the ore into two, smelts them into ingots, constructs them into rods, and then turns them into screws, which are then stored over here. I had to split that, and it's still not really fast enough. You can see it's backing up. The production is just not as quick as the mining. But never mind. Over here, we've got this miner. It makes, well, this is the smelter, makes the ingots, and this one just makes rods, iron rods in case I need rods. And then from here, smelts them into ingots, and this one makes iron plates. It also splits off some here, which goes around to a refinery over there, which we'll talk about a bit later. And this third one, I didn't really have anything to do with this, so it's just sending it into the awesome sink. It's bloody slow, but whatever, I'm not doing anything else, so might as well do that. This here, we've got two storage containers here. They feed into this assembler, so I'm just doing this manually. It's currently set to reinforced iron plates. I've also been doing rotors. No, that's not automated. I have to manually put things in there. We'll need to fix that at some point. That's what it's been building. And then here's the refinery. We've also got coal coming in. You know, I probably don't even need these storage containers. I can just feed it directly in. But anyway, that refines into steel ingots, which is almost full. And of course, we have the space elevator over there. Now, if we get a slightly better vantage point, clearly this is not set up. This all just sort of came about as I needed to do things. You can see they're slightly angled, just enough to trigger people with OCD. Anyway, let's keep going over here. Let's just clip right through the body of that thing. Got some trees that are clipping as well. I'll get around to chopping those down one day, probably, eventually. Now, way over here, this is a pure coal deposit. Pure. So I've got my miner going. That's the bio burner, which I only had there to jumpstart this. I don't really need it anymore. Oh, I might get rid of it, maybe. Now, it took me a while to figure out how to get over here because there's this bottomless abyss down here. I realised you can sort of build bridges. If we get over here, you can just sort of keep doing this. Like that, and get all the way across. Now, gravity's weird on this planet. You can take these away and that one just sort of stays there, but not important. What we need to do is jump on this conveyor belt, because that gives us a bit of extra speed. And if we run all the way over here, it's quite a bit of a distance actually. So These walking things seem to have territory, because this one's always here, and it's always stomping on the conveyor belt here. Doesn't seem to do any damage. So, just up here we can see there's a bit of a split there. That's the coal that feeds into the refinery over there. That goes all the way back to the base, which I showed off just earlier. But if we keep going up here, have a sip while we're doing it, slurp. Now we can see these smokestacks here. This is my power generator, my coal generators. Because this, when we get over here, we'll see there's a sort of a small pond here. Now this was the first, that was the first coal deposit I found. I've only found two. There's another one, I think where that beacon is. So it's over in that general direction. There's also another pond over there, but it's much smaller. Now this pond is not very big. I could probably fit one more water extractor in there if I had to. But I've looked this up, and apparently the most efficient way is 3 water extractors to 8 coal generators. Now I was rather limited here by the geography. As you can see, it's quite steep in places. But this is where I tried to actually be neat. So we've got our water extractors coming into these pipes. Possibly I'll need to rebalance that one, move it over to either there or a bit further over there, but that's for the future. And the coal also split, oops, didn't mean that, splits into all these splitters, and then the elevators, lifts, whatever. Take it in all, you've got water and coal going into all these coal generators. Now at this point I've got plenty. I've got 600 megawatts capacity, and I'm using, sort of, it peaks a bit over 200, so 230 odd depending on what's running. I've got plenty of capacity at the moment. But this was my attempt at being slightly neat, as much as the terrain would allow anyway. Now this is running on the update 3, the current live update. Update 4 is coming out live in about a week-ish. When that happens, I believe that these coal generators will use all the coal and all the water all the time, regardless of how much power you're actually generating. At the moment they only use it fairly slowly, so your efficiency is only 30% because I'm just not using all the power I've got. That's why I may end up needing to rebalance. I'm not exactly sure how the fluid dynamics work in this game, but we'll see how it goes. Now that's hooked up. There was one line following that conveyor belt all the way down to the coal extractor miner. The rest of it follows all the way along here. And this is where my copper ore is being mined. So it started off just, all I was doing was mining and refining. Whenever I needed copper, I'd just come up here, pick it up, run back to there and do what I needed with it. As the game goes on, we need more and more stuff. You need to automate things. So we've got a couple of things here. It splits out. That side, that container there is just the ingots. That's already full. It splits over to here. This splits the ingots there. It's going into making wire. And that is then also split. This container is wire. This one feeds into another constructor which makes cables. And that's all full. So my copper production is about to stop. That's fine. If I need it, I'll come and grab it, and then it'll start filling up again. Now, back to our hypertube here. Now, this gives us a nice overview of the factory while we're going up here. You get a nice bird's eye view of just how disorganised it is. Bit of a kink just there, which I'll straighten out at some point. And here we are back to the factory. Now, I originally wanted that hypertube. I actually tried to set it up to go straight over there, but for some reason the hub's collision detection was saying I couldn't do the tube directly across there because it was colliding with something, even though visually it wasn't. I guess the collision box there must be just much bigger than the actual visuals. Anyway, the whole point of this video is because for a new player like me, like I never really got into these games before, these types of games, and I've definitely never played this specific game before, so I don't know what sort of things are coming. You know, I've done the tutorial. I didn't know metal plates existed until the tutorial or whatever told me about them. I didn't know rods. I didn't know you needed rods to make screws. I didn't know you needed, what have I got at the moment? Rods and screws making, I think, both reinforced plates and rotors. Use iron rods and screws. That stuff I didn't know before, so that's why it just sort of grew. I had no ability to plan in advance. Now that's not a bad thing. This is just my first time through. In any subsequent playthroughs, obviously I'll have a bit more idea of what I'm doing and be able to plan it. But the thing is, if I quickly show, I've already unlocked everything that I can right now. In order to get further, I need to do the next phase of the space elevator. In order to do the space elevator, I need all of these things. And look what sort of that needs the plates and the rotors, which I was just making over there in the assembler. And then this needs what are they? Frames and steel beams. That needs, what are they? Rotors. So that's stators and cables. So I need to automate things more, which means I'm going to have to either start a new factory somewhere for, you know, just a new outpost. Doesn't need to be a whole new factory, but I might either start a new outpost somewhere near some resources to make all these things, or rejigger this completely, you know, pull things down and remake them. That's going to be quite a long process. Anyway, that was all. I just wanted to show you just how completely disorganized this factory really is. Hideous. Slurp.